Welcome to the Windows Computer and Technology channel. And you know what? One of the things that I was thinking, and I'm looking at the comments coming in about, Windows 12 could be a subscription-based system. And of course, a lot of people not happy with that and would not like that. And it's understandable. Um, could it be a viable option for home users? I'm not sure that would be. And there are other options out there. I mean, if you're going to pay a subscription, people could be moving to other platforms. A lot of mentioned Chromebooks, for example. It depends what you're doing, because Windows, what makes a lot of people stay on Windows is what they do that is impossible or very complicated to do anywhere else. For example, with what I do, and I'm not talking about YouTube videos, I'm talking about hardware, I'm talking about things like I have specialized equipment that of course slowly are getting multi-platform, but there's a lot of things I'm doing that are Windows only, and that have only the best choice of software in Windows. And this keeps me in Windows because there would not be a possibility to go to Linux in any way. I see people offended when I say, well, if you're going to Linux, you're not a big user of a computer. And people get offended. Well, I do things. Yeah, you do simple things. It's not an offense that, I'm not attacking anyone when I say that. What I'm saying is it all depends what you do. If your daily routine is just look at my email and surf the web and do very little else, you can do that on anything pretty much. And so, yes, you could go to Linux, which would be free, which would have your computer continue working for a long time, and do it. Absolutely. The thing is a lot of more heavy Windows users do things that there's just nobody else that can do it. Not even Apple. I would not see myself using an Apple Mac because I'd have tons of things. I would have to install Windows. It's as simple as that. And if I'm to install Windows in a Mac, I'd rather have a Windows machine. That's it. It's the same for Linux. I get these geeks that come in and say, well, you can, use the virtualized environment and have Windows running. Then why do I have Linux? If I have to, go to the painstaking installing Windows in a virtual machine in it, it's not even logical. So it's rather have Windows. And that's where it's kind of interesting, because some of us are stuck in Windows for what we do. Change is a big, big, big problem for most people. So people stay in Windows because they're kind of, in some environment that they know how it works, and, they do the things they want to do, and it does it the way they want it, and are, have a difficulty thinking that they'd go to a Mac or go to another platform. As a tech guy, I've seen people go from Windows to Mac and be completely lost. Mac users think, oh, no, Mac is so easy that we go to a Mac and it works and it's great. It doesn't work like that. People are totally lost from Windows to Mac. That's the way it is. Mac operating system ain't easier than Windows. It's not true. It's because you are in the habit and you are, accustomed to all the features and how it works. But it's different. So, this is where it's interesting and where people keep, using Windows. The other thing about Windows that is interesting is it's technically a business operating system. It's very interesting how the big majority of computers out there running Windows are in enterprise. And that the chunk that makes the enthusiasts and the basic home Windows user is not that big. It is, a good number of people. It's millions and millions of people, but it's people using a complex system often to do very simple tasks. So it is difficult for sure to think that people would pay a subscription. But then again, if you're doing a task that you can't find an equivalent or not easily find a way to do it in another platform, you'll be paying that annual fee or whatever. But this is early. What we saw in my video where I show you that Deskmodder had some of the code with the Canary version of Windows, which is what I'm running here, by the way, the Canary version. So this should have, in the same place that he found it, the code to subscription status and information. But what does it all mean, and what will be the end result is different. A lot of people saying, well, for the home user, a subscription is kind of a tough sell. And I think it is, absolutely. But it's not a zero sell, because one of the things that is kind of interesting in there is, look at Microsoft Office users at home. Everybody said, well, the home user will never want to pay a subscription to Microsoft Office. They're going to, buy Microsoft Office, keep it for a long time. And a lot of people do, actually. And a lot of people run outdated versions of Office that they keep. But one thing that has been shown is that Microsoft has been extremely successful in getting home users subscribing to their Office 365 or Microsoft 365. I got my Microsoft 365 because I use the Office suite, and there's advantages for it. At some point, it becomes not that expensive when you think about it, because first, I have 1 terabyte of OneDrive, which I use a lot. But not just that. I got the ability to have 5 family members on it, too. It becomes an extremely cheap option of having the latest version all the time. And each family member has their 1 terabyte OneDrive. It is interesting. And, my nephew that works in app development and so on needs Office. And he's happy because he's on my, I sent him the code that Microsoft gives for your family members, and he's using Microsoft 365 on my account, which is great. And it's shown to be surprisingly popular. And it's interesting when we try to think about, would people go there or would people do this? You end up, at first, when it starts, you're like, well, nobody's going to go there. And then you end up a couple of years later saying, well, the number of people that actually went there is very surprising. So it is an interesting future. And what will happen to it? Of course, some people will ditch Windows if it's paid, because they'll have other options around them. Chromebooks is one. If you don't do too much, you might even turn you're a little, tech savvy, you might turn your machine into a Linux machine. It'll work fine, There could be some that go to a Mac computer. It happens, but the crossover from Windows to Mac is very small. And there is the reverse. There are crossovers from Mac to Windows, but it's probably Windows to Mac that is bigger. But there's not that many Windows users that go to a Mac computer. It's not a thing, really. But there are, Mac users out there, definitely. So it's going to be an interesting future. My personal opinion on it is that there'll be a basic free Windows 12 that might not have all the bells and whistles and AI features, but that is going to work on your PC, and you won't need to pay. And I think what's coming up is not a full Windows 12 subscription. It's a Windows 12 basic version for computers, for the home user. And if you wish to have more features, wish to have some of the AI capabilities, that side could be the paid subscription side. And I think that would be the logical way to see it and think about it. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.